This is Anabolic Revolution podcast from Pharmacies. And I'm here to answer some of the questions we have here in the Facebook group. The first one by Dan Kozlaukos. This is the cycle of Paul Dillette. Everybody knows Paul Dillette is a freak in the 90s, and off-season tests cypionate 400 to 600 per week. Nandrolone deconate deca 400 to 600 per week. And Anadrol 50 to 100 per day. This is a joke. This is probably a joke because everybody knows that genetics is extremely important. But when you achieve 300 pounds or something like that, it's not easy to keep that muscle. And to keep that muscle, I'm not talking about gaining more. I'm just talking about keeping it. You need a lot of calories, and of course, a lot of PEDs to transport this food the best way to your muscles. Everybody knows that today, even the men's physique use GH, insulin, and 2 grams of test. And it's a man's physique body. If Paul Dillette use only this, he's not human. He's an alien. It's impossible. Because 400 of tests is a therapeutic dose. It's not a dose to build muscle, to build a huge bodybuilder, a freak. So, no way this is possible. We have here the contest prep cycle 2, but it's the same shit. Test propionate 500 to 600, primobolan 500 to 600. Everybody knows that primobolan, even real, you need to run at least 800 minimum. Growth hormone 9 IUs per day. Yeah, this is not the 9 IUs pharmaceutical is a good dose. But for a freak like Paul Dillette, I think is another joke. Miguel Almeida said Chris Bumstead use 500 milligrams of test per week. Never use GH or insulin. I'm telling because not in the Olympia stage, but a lot of pros in men's physique, and of course classic is even more, use insulin and a lot of GH. And something that I think is not possible is these athletes in this category of men's physique using around 2 grams of test per week. It's crazy. Looks crazy. But we have to understand that the level at this moment is so high that a man's physique looks like a bodybuilder in the 80s and even in the 90s. They are huge. The only problem is they have no legs, but the upper body is a complete bodybuilder. So, to achieve that level, you need something. You need food, and you need, of course, a lot of gear. Jim Jarrow asked, got Trophin or AP, Euro Pharmacies? Of course, Euro Pharmacies is amazing, amazing products. Daniel Johnson, swapping extra from inantate to cypionate for my blast in 3 weeks. As FFU recommend, never tried it myself, only did test E for blast and cruise. Yes, it's a good idea to change the esters because some people said test is test, but why they create these different blends, these different esters? Because they are not equal. They have some differences. So a good way is always change. Long esters, I think, change every 12 weeks. Short esters, you can change every 4 weeks, in my opinion. It's always good to change. Your body will react different and keep growing. Field Recon, trapezius. I like traps muscle in a man. I train at least a few times a week with heavy weights, shrugs with barbell and dumbbell. My friend, I have, like I said, crazy genetics for traps. I'm not an example to show you the best way to train. Right now I'm not training traps for maybe 2 years. But when I train, I do like this. I put like 100 kilos on the bar. I do the front shrugs and resting 30 seconds. I do the shrugs in front, and of course, how can I say? Behind my back. Of course, it's very difficult to do the movement because behind my back the bar put pressure on the glutes, and of course it's more difficult to push and to have a great movement. But I see that behind my back the shrugs works amazing, and when I do that, I put the weight. I do one set behind my one set of shrugs on front and one set of shrugs behind my back. I increase the weight, I do the same, I increase the weight and I do the same. 6 sets is the only thing I do for traps, and they grow like weed. Kelly Connolly, So currently taking test SIP 500 milligrams per week, Anavar 20 milligrams per day, GH 2 IUs per day, 5 days on, 2 days off, and I have serious swelling in my ankles and feet. So I'm guessing this is because of GH, and you haven't got any tips for me? Yes, Kelly. Of course, the ankles swelling is one of my problems. That's why I don't support to use MK677. They make my ankles so swell that almost the side of my calves is not good. And with GH, I have a little bit. I'm using right now 8 IUs of AP Aero, and I have, of course, some swelling in my ankles. And I know your problem is because of GH. It's only strange because 2 IUs is an extreme low dose, and you are doing only 5 days a week. I don't understand the idea of using GH some days on, some days off. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think it works in this way if you use a huge dose on leg day, back day, some heavy days, and then rest the other days. But I'm talking about 10, 50 IUs of GH in these days, and the other days not using. This is good for bulking. This is good to put mass on the weak body parts, of course. But the best way to achieve all the effects of GH is using every day for 6 months. This is basic. You can use only 3, 4 IUs. 2 IUs is so little, but 4 IUs is perfect during 6 months, and your body will be a fat burning machine, and your skin looks much better. Your recovery, your sleep, everything much perfect. Michael Knight just wanted to share 10 kits of solid GH from EP. Of course, 10 kits is it's amazing. With 10 kits using 10 IUs per day, I will look like a freak. Harvey Law. Hi guys, I want to ask you about metformin. I know what it does, and I'm considering to cut with it, but it is better to run solo or while on gear. Can't find anything regarding metformin is a glucose drug. It's good for a pre-contest only because reduce your hunger and keep your insulin blood levels very low. So it's much easier to burn fat. Some people take before bed and in the morning do the fasted cardio with the guarantee that the body has no carbs in the blood, no sugar in the blood, to burn all that fat. And some of them use them with the carb meals when carb loading during the diet to not use insulin. In my opinion, of course, insulin is much better to push the carbs to the body. I think metformin is good to use to get in keto more quick and burn fat more easy. But to transport the carbs after a huge carb meal, I prefer always insulin. Looking for more questions. Kyle Brown, always strong, is impressive. His strength and is amazing. His strength and his size, using a very low doses of gear. John Raw, Joe, and to ask you, the people, who feel about G-Trophine, if it's good or what. I usually run Spectrum on ZPHT. My friend, I love the AP GH. It's amazing. And in the past I use some gear from the ZPHT. Is a good brand, yes, but right now I'm very, very happy with the Aero, with the AP. So Kimaklama, Anadrol AP or Tren AP for huge strength gains. In my opinion, Tren is not so amazing in strength. Is more rage, more energy, more rage in the workout. For strength, in my opinion, Anadrol is one of the best, if not the best. Is the powerlifting drug, and it works amazing. Anadrol at 150, 200 milligrams per day, it's amazing. Of course, Superdrol is other option for strength, great option, and for some crazy people, halotestin. Halotestin, the only problem, of course, you can kill someone easy. It's a rage drug. It's a DHT, pure DHT, and of course strength is amazing, but is not the safest steroid, and of course is very toxic. So in my opinion, Anadrol and Superdrol are the kings. Of course, always with tests. And if you can support Trembolone, these four is a crazy combo to grow. Then Kozlowskos ask, it is okay to shoot in the front of the delt because side delt hurts like a mother's steel. My friend, if the side delt hurts, the front delt is worse. The best place to shoot always is shoulders. It's smooth, easy and pain-free. The rear delt is the best place to shoot and is the place you always need some inflammation because it's the muscle that don't grow. In front delts is a little bit more sensitive, but shoulders is always the best part because in the quads is very painful. In the glutes is not that painful, but sometimes gives lumps or the absorption is not the perfect. So in my opinion, shoulders is always the best place to shoot. Then Kozlowskis asks, anti-estrogen during the cycle or after the cycle? No beach tits allowed. My friend, anti-estrogen is to keep on hand. It's not to use every day, every other day, like the people said in some forums. Anti-estrogen is to use when you need it. You have on hand, when you feel sensitive nipples, you begin using, and when they are fixed, you stop using again because they cut completely your gains. Is a killer gains. When you reduce a lot the gains you can have from the year. That's why some people use a lot of tests, a lot of DECA, and have no results. Sometimes telling, my gear must be fake because I don't have results. And that's why using a lot of anti-estrogen without need. So, it's only to have on hand when you need it, not to use every day or like the people said in the forums, because if you do that, you will have no results. So, my friends, this is the podcast from the Anabolic Revolution Facebook group, from Pharmacies, and of course, keep growing.